Take 24. Hi, everybody. My name is William Castillo, and I am in your business ethics class with Mr. Yost at 8 in the morning. The topic I'm going to be discussing in this YouTube video is, does morality depend on religion? Now, I know for some of you this is a touchy subject. You're probably brought up very religious, and some of you this might mean nothing because you were brought up not believing God at all. Me, I kind of fall in the middle there. So I try to have an open mind with this, and I hope you guys can have an open mind as well. Now, when we go through all of these and you guys watch the other YouTube videos, I stress have an open mind because with it being such a touchy subject, it's very difficult to find topics or videos or any sort of material that goes straight up the middle. Everyone has an opinion on this. So bear in mind, some of them may lean more towards the God side. Some of them may lean more towards the atheist side. Take what you can from both and try to meet in the middle. I know I've said that 3 times already, but I really need you to comprehend this a little bit. Let me get started with the first video that I posted on there, which is about the monkeys. It starts with chimpanzees and some other little ones. The chimpanzees are given 3 watermelons, and one of them hoards all 3. Knowing that the other ones are probably going to be upset, the chimpanzee shares the 3 of them. Now, does it share it out of fear, or does it share it out of that's the right thing to do? Is that a moral decision that we make, that the chimpanzee is making? Does that mean that morality extends further past humanity and into the morality of the chimpanzees? Now, I'm not stretching as far as going to Mark Wahlberg's terrible remake of Planet of the Apes, but what I'm saying here is that humans may not be the only creatures with a moral obligation. Now, unless there's a Church of Hombre, I don't think that these chimpanzees are praying to anything, which means that there's no religion. So where did their sense of morality come from? Does it come from society? Does it dictate because they're living within a group of its own kind or a collective that it knows that it needs to make these certain decisions to be accepted into this? None of this is coming from any sort of religion. The other instance of the primates doing it is with a smaller monkey, and it is given the option of you take from one spot and only you get a treat. If you take from the second spot, you and your friend get a treat. See what I mean? It's a very simple concept for us, like only you're going to be feeding someone else too by simply making a decision. But after a couple of times, it wasn't an immediate thing. And the video, the person reporting on it even says it took over time. The little monkey ended up picking so that everyone could eat. That's the moral thing to do. And it's not praying to anything. So where did that come from? I believe that creatures as a collective, not just humans or chimps, but you can go to wolf packs, you can go into birds, crows are exceptionally smart, that they even have a sense of morals themselves because it's how you need to behave to be accepted within your society. And that drives them to make these decisions that may be based off of survival or maybe based off of morality, that these animals might actually think this is the right thing to do. So roll that one around in your head a little bit. The other video is from the guy from the Netherlands. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he mentions that there's a town in the Netherlands that is pretty much completely devoid of religion. And they obviously have a moral society. They have a set of laws. They have everything we do here pretty much. It's just probably a lot colder. So by not having a religion up there, human beings, not animals anymore, how are they making these decisions without something dictating to them? Is it possible that we as human beings have evolved past the need for religion or a higher power to make decisions? Possibly. I go on, and I say possibly even though you guys are probably thinking that I'm siding more with the atheists here, because he mentions another little tidbit, which is in a bigger society, it's harder to keep eyes on everybody. In a small town, I mean, you take very rural Texas, I take them for example, and everybody knows everybody in that town. You don't kind of need it as much because everybody is in everyone's business and they know the right thing to do. You bump it up to New York, millions of people living in very close proximity with each other. Even though there's more eyes, in a way, less people are paying attention to what you're doing. So I think for a lot of people, it makes them feel better knowing that something is actually looking out for them and that, hey, this is the right thing to do. You know, God says it is, or Allah, whatever you guys want to go with. And it is a very good way to go about it. The next little one is this, and it's an interest. Listen to the words on this. It's going to sound like a little bit of a tongue twister here. It is this. Is something good because God says it is? Or is it good? Sorry about that. I had to clarify this really quickly. Here's the question for you. Is something good because God wills it? Or does God will something because it is good? There's another video I posted. It totally looks like another kid's school project. But he asked that question, and it's an old Greek question. Really look into it, and it's kind of deep, and it'll make you question a few things. So if you're religious, if God says that, you know, killing is bad, you know, you kill your father, you need to go to jail, you know, period, end of story. All right, cool. But what if one day God says killing your parents is okay? Does that make it all right? Does our society say that's right? These are all kind of big ones. I personally went to a private Catholic school from K through 8th grade. Had to wear a uniform and everything. Hated it. But that was almost the premise there a bit. And it's a little terrifying. It can swing either way. In today's society, do we even think that a little bit? Probably not. In other parts of the world, do they? Yes. Which is going to bring me to my last question. Let me give you one little bit more of background on me, and you'll understand why this question may hit home for some people and why it might shake you up a little bit. I was a Marine and I deployed overseas. Let's just say to a sandbox. And one of the training programs that they gave us and that they had us think over was this. Let's say that you are out and about on patrol. You're out there just doing your thing. And you see a woman getting beat, like hard, by a group of people too. Like this isn't just one guy, this is multiple, right? Is that right or wrong? Now in the training scenario, they push us to say, do you act on it? But that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to simply sit here and make up your own mind on whether this is right or wrong. According to that particular society, this may be right, or this is right, deemed by them, deemed by their religion and everything. Now I'm going to say you're from a different religion, have deemed this wrong. Who's right in this situation? It's a really, really crummy one. But this is a situation that a lot of service members get faced, especially going overseas into third world countries, where religion pretty much is government in some aspects. Now, I hope none of you are thinking that I'm attacking a particular group of people, because I'm honest to God not. But this is something that quite a few people have seen, and I want you to really run this one through your brain a bit. It's the same situation of the previous question, and it all kind of rolls back towards each other. So if you start with the last question I just asked you and move backwards. One person thinks this is right, the other person thinks this is wrong because of their religion. Well, what if we took religion out of it? Is there a premise to stand on for what is right and wrong? The fourth video that's posted in there is very much so leaning towards you need God to be right. But it makes one interesting bit there, which is God is the foundation of it, and then you build upon it from there. So, you know, the Ten Commandments aren't, I mean, well, technically they're written in stone somewhere, but they're not meant to be black and white for us today. they're meant to be the building blocks for what we put on top of it. Love thy neighbor like you love thyself. I think it's pretty fair that we can break that down into the simple aspect of don't be a dick to your neighbor, and your neighbor won't be a dick to you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And that's something we've all heard growing up. Well, at least I hope so. In my personal opinion at the end of this here, I'm going to argue that beginning humans in early societies did need religion to be moral. They didn't understand why it rained. They didn't understand why the earth shook. They needed these things to help them grasp what was going on in their lives. So religion was necessary for them. In today's day and age, religion does serve a purpose because otherwise it wouldn't still be around. So I believe that it is 50-50. It is a personal decision whether you believe that you need God to be moral or not. Me, I don't. I've learned that over my years that I don't need a higher power telling me what to do, but I can learn from what's going on around me and the society on what I should do, from what my parents taught me, from what my teachers have taught me, so on and so forth. It's very much so a touchy subject, and I hope you guys can mull this one around, and please don't tear each other apart with this one. And I hope you guys have a good time thinking about this and come to class prepared, because I know that I definitely am. I know that sounds like a challenge, but this is a fun issue for some of us, and for some people it may not. But let's have a good discussion in class, and see you guys there. Peace.